Alright, I am going to try to refine one of my stock pots that's been sitting around for quite a while. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a plastic hose and I'm going to use gravity to kind of siphon this off into this other bucket. So I filled this up with water. Wish I had a thicker line. And when this gets siphoned down a good amount, I'll show you what we're left with. These gloves that I'm wearing too, I bought chemical resistant. It said they were resistant to some acids online, so hopefully this will help a little bit. So this solution here is the solution that I'm siphoning off of my waste bucket. This is not going to have any precious metals in it at all, since they were all cemented out in the other bucket with copper. And I'm going to put some iron in here, and it's going to get rid of all the copper and everything, but there will be no precious metals in this bucket. And to check, I'm going to do a stannous chloride test to make sure that there's absolutely nothing in here. So this is what we're left with, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the copper up and I'm going to lightly rinse it off to get any of the precipitate to go to the bottom. Oh, this is on there good. I may have to actually wow, I've never seen it where it was stuck on so well. Alright, this is gonna be a bit more work than I thought. I'll keep on working on this as clean as I can and I'll be back. Alright, so I learned some things. I made a massive mistake by using braided copper wire. It basically fell apart. There's gonna be copper all in this. So I'm gonna have to work with that. Unfortunately, there's a lot I don't think I can recover because it's just not worth it. The plumbing pipe, copper plumbing pipe, is perfect, but this is a good lesson for me and anyone that's never done this before. Do not use braided copper. It's going to cause more problems than it's worth. And the thing with this, I mean, you can spend as much time or as little time. You know, the faster, obviously, you're not going to get as much of a return. But I mean, time is money, and I know I'm kind of doing this somewhat haphazardly. I'm going to filter this out. I'll rinse it with distilled water. Then I'm going to put it in a melt dish, and I'm going to heat it up. And then any of this old solution, I'm going to pour it back in there, along with my solid pieces of copper. The braided wire, I'm just going to toss in the trash. That's not braided wire, that's solid copper. So I cleaned it out pretty good. I'll be back when I get the melt dish. Alright, I got my melt dish. I'm going to just put this whole thing right in there. Oh boy. I really didn't want to get water in here, but let me just get a little bit of this off. I just realized, I don't know why I'm doing this. I should have used the paper towel. Let me try to drain some of that water off. That's just going to make it harder for me to melt now. This is going to take quite a while, so I'll be back in a little bit. So it took a while. This is where I'm at now. I pretty much had to just evaporate all that water. The water was a mistake. So I'm going to keep on heating it, and then I'll show you what we're left with. So I heated this up. Then I tried to put it in water to get beads. This is what I'm left with. You can actually see some pieces of gold solidified from what was in there. But now, as Three Tips would say, I'm in uncharted territory because, unfortunately, a lot of the metal is still stuck to the crucible. I heated and heated and heated and heated and heated, and nothing. I couldn't get it off. So, in theory, I think this will work. I've never done this. I'm going to take a hammer, and actually, I mean, this is an old melt dish. I'm going to break it up into pieces, and I'm going to try to dissolve the metal in aqua regia. So I don't know how that's going to work. It's funny because it looked like I had so much material, but once you heat it up, there really isn't much, but you can definitely see some little gold pieces in there, and whatever else I get out of this dish. What a freaking disaster. I know when other people do things like this, they make it look so easy, but it really is trial and error, I guess. So I will break this up, and then we will put it in aqua regia. So I broke up the melting dish into pieces like this. There's really not a lot of material on that, so I didn't put that in. I only put the pieces with material in it. I added distilled water, and I'm going to add some nitric. This is probably going to take a long time to cook. This is probably going to take several hours. I'm going to add about 100 milliliters of nitric. And I'm going to let this cook, and I'll check back in a little bit. So, in theory, this should get rid of this. It should dissolve the silver, the copper, and it should dissolve everything and leave the precious metals behind. But we'll see how it turns out.